burning deep within our hearts, in the love that grows between us. This is where the journey starts. There is hope in the stillness. There is solace in our friends, and in the love that grows between us. This is where the isolation ends. Come full circle in a moment. Hold no shame in what you feel. This whole world will keep on turning, and our broken hearts will heal. When the rain falls around you like your solitary tear, in the love that flows between us, know that thunder holds no fear. In the struggle you hold sacred, when the arrows pierce you through, in the love that flows between us, may your courage be renewed. There is music in each silence. There is promise in each day, and in the love that holds between us, may we always find our way. Come full circle in a moment. Hold no shame in what you feel. This old world will keep on turning, and our broken hearts will heal. There's a flame in the darkness, burning deep within our hearts, in the love that grows between us. This is where the journey starts. There is hope in the stillness. There is solace in our friends, and in the love that flows between us. The sacred journey never ends. Yes, in the love that holds between us, sacred journey.
That better? Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Michaud. I'm a member of the FPC board. And welcome on this absolutely spectacular day of May. June. It's June? The other day I got confused about what day it was between the morning and the evening. So that's where I'm at. Welcome to First Parish Church of Stowe and Acton, a welcoming spiritual community. For those who are at FPC for the first time, we welcome you. Please let us know you are here by filling out one of our visitor cards in the pews and hand it to an usher, drop it in a plate, or hand it to Meg, our welcoming staff member. Our minister, staff, and board are listed on the front of the order of service. Please feel free to ask me or any of these people for more information. If you would like a large print order of service or hymnal or an assisted listening device, please ask our ushers. Our assisted listening devices are small radios. Anyone is welcome to use one of these to listen to the service from another place in or around our building. After the service, please join us for coffee and conversation in our fellowship hall, which is one level down at the other end of our building, or in a breakout room if you're joining us online. I'd like to draw your attention to the announcements in the order of service and also invite you to check out our webpage for more information. You can also sign up there for our newsletter and email alerts. We are so pleased to have J Jenks with us this morning to bring us his wonderful music. As for the announcements, we have, can you tell I didn't practice? This Wednesday, June 5th, at 7 in the Fellowship Hall, Reverend Cindy will be leading a listening and caring circle so that everyone can come together and share their thoughts and feelings about the recent deaths that have occurred in our communities. These have been very upsetting. There have been 3 young people who have been lost to us in tragic circumstances. And this is an opportunity for everyone to come together and commune about those sorrows. Also, this Friday, there's at 7 p.m. in the community room, there's a Becoming an LGBTQ Ally and workshop. And there's an optional potluck dinner before at 6:30. Our June plate sharing is with Supporting Asylum Seekers. This group is an active part of our social justice network here at FPC. We work to support asylum seekers and refugees who seek a safe home in our surrounding communities. Some of our activities, like political advocacy or helping asylum seekers find jobs, learn English, navigate the medical system, ride a bike or use buses, don't need money. Other help does take money. Providing food and housing in a motel for a family while they are waiting for entry into the Massachusetts Emergency Family Shelter System, rides to medical appointments and job interviews when one of us is not available to drive, or legal fees for asylum cases. We greatly appreciate your contributions to the plate to support the asylum seekers for the month of June. Thank you so much.
This is a piece of music that I wrote for a friend's ordination in the fall of 2019, right at the end of October. And it was inspired by something that the lead minister who was preaching at the ordination was quoting out of the writings of Julian of Norwich. And I wanted a piece of music that would corroborate the message of the sermon. So like many composers of old, I was up till the wee hours scribbling, trying to get it right the night before the ordination. And then it turned out that was the last large group singing experience I had before the pandemic. There were other concerts, but it was the last time I stood in one of our sanctuaries, in a Unitarian Universalist sanctuary, and had the privilege of singing with 200 people, each one laying a hand on another's shoulder and passing it up to my friend Pat, who was being ordained. And that memory carried me through the first few years of the pandemic, that memory of connectedness and togetherness, and the assurance that all will be well. And here we are, 4 years later, and not all is well. Some things have been broken, and yet we are here. We are moving forward. We are recovering and reclaiming and renewing and emerging as something different, and yet also something whole in ways that we were not before. In my case, I learned that I like a slightly slower pace of life during the pandemic. I learned that I liked waking up in my own bed regularly. As a touring musician, that has been an unusual occurrence in the last quarter of a century. I learned that I like cooking food in my own kitchen and doing it regularly. And so I invite you, as we sing this song, I invite you to consider what it is in your life that has changed, what it is in your life that is renewed, and what it means to carry that with you as you go forward into the coming weeks and months. All will be well.
All will be well. All will be well. All manner of things will be well. Wherever life may call you, wherever you may dwell, all will be well, all will be well. We gather here to witness and affirm the harmony of spirit and the heart. Manifest within you, brought forth from deepest hope, to be a force of healing in this world. All will be well. All will be well. All will be well. All manner of things will be well. Wherever life may call you, wherever you may dwell, all will be well, all will be well. You find your purpose in service to a light, manifest in each and every being that is life. We see the gifts that blossom in your care, and the people who are nourished by your love. All will be well. All will be well. All will be well. All manner of things will be well. Wherever life may call you, wherever you may dwell, all will be well, all will be well. May you go forth, mend what has been broken, to feed those who are hungry, to quench the ones who thirst, for a world of compassion, for mercy that abounds, and a place to dwell in sacred gentleness. All will be well. All will be well. All will be well. All manner of things will be well. Wherever life may call you, wherever you may dwell, all will be well, all will be well.
One more time, all will be well.
All will be well. All will be well. All manner
Our opening words are titled A Holy Alchemy by Kim Mason. In a dark room, oh, sorry. I was reading the image description. Because when I copied and pasted, it came in. Once upon a time, chemists believed they could transform lead into gold or death into life. We laugh. But are we not also in the business of alchemy? Turning loneliness into connection, pain into comfort, anger into solidarity, faith into action. The subtle magic of church combines love with justice, creates hope out of fear, transforms individuals into community. Here we engage in a holy alchemy, finding beauty in the ordinary and life in the present. Come, let us be transformed together.
Would you please rise and body your spirit and sing with me an opening hymn you don't know, but you will soon.
Lay down your weapons, love has you surrounded. There is no easy way out. Lay down your shield, let your heart break just a little. Let love remove all doubt. You go through the world, everybody's sweetheart, keeping up a front that wears you down. But in a quiet moment, the truth comes out. Some days you feel like you're about to drown. Lay down your weapons and lay down your weapons. Love has you surrounded. There is no easy way out. And lay down your shield, let your heart break just a little. Let love remove all doubt. There is no reason to play this charade. You can be loved for who you are. And for every troubled thought that crosses your mind, please know that you are someone else's shining star. And lay down your weapons, love has you surrounded. There is no easy way out. And lay down your shield, let your heart break just a little. Let love remove all doubt. What do you need? By what measure would you know that you are more than what you achieve? When you look in the mirror, is it possible to see that you are enough? So let it breathe. And lay down your weapons, love has you surrounded. There is no easy way out. Lay down your shield, let your heart break just a little. Let love remove all doubt. One more time. Lay down your weapons. Lay down your weapons. Love has you surrounded. There is no easy way out. Lay down your shield. Let your heart break just a little. Let love remove
So today we have a very special program. This is our first chalice ceremony, something we haven't done in this church, I think, since 2019. And so it's a really special moment. Rael is going to come up and introduce the program in a moment here. But I wanted to let you know we're going to be showing some slides while she's talking, and you're going to be able to see what's on this table that you don't really have a good view of, which is the beautiful chalices that the kids made at a pottery studio recently that are just absolutely gorgeous. I also want to tell you that there's a little change to the order of service, and you all know Sharon Brownfield and know that if she knew she was in the order of service, she would be here, or she would have let us know she couldn't be here. Oh, you're there. The hat threw us and we couldn't see you. Okay, good. It was my job to have told her like that we had these parts here for her, and I didn't do that, so she's winging it. But please give her your thanks and my apologies for not letting her know ahead of time exactly what the parts were. So with no further ado, let me introduce Rela, who will tell you all about the first chalice.
So this is the first time that we have had the first chalice program in, I think, about 4 years. And in the past, Michelle taught the children our UU principles, our history. And this year, we went from teaching them about our principles to having them learn about our UU values. You all saw Jet Pig for the first time, but really learning that our principles and our values are the same thing, right?
Yes. You already heard about the organization we're sharing our plate with this month, which is our own supporting asylum seekers task force, and the good work that they're doing for supporting asylum seekers here in Massachusetts. So please give generously for the work of that group and the work of this church. Your gifts are gratefully received.
As I was walking down the only road I knew, I came upon a place where that one road turned to two. I took the one that seemed less warm. I did the best I could, till I happened on a wise man on the road out in the woods. When he looked at me a moment, he looked up at the sky, turned as if about to speak, but all he did was sigh. So I ventured forth the question. I said, surely you must know, will the road that I now travel take me where I want to go? He said, do it for the power and you'll surely be a slave. Do it for the glory and you'll find it great. Do it for the laughter and you'll surely find your smile. Do it for the singing and you've gone the extra mile. I still had some questions I thought might clear the air. I turned around to ask and found he was no longer there. I thought maybe this was God I saw as I got down on my knees, but soon enough I heard the wind blowing through the trees. It said, do it for the power and you'll surely be a slave for the glory. Do it for the glory and you'll find inner grave for the laughter. Do it for the laughter and you'll surely find your smile for the singing. Do it for the singing and you've gone the extra then I go astray. But I come back to the path, 'cause for me it's the only way. Well, I do not have much money, but I find I have more time to seek the answers that I need in the eyes of those I find. They say do it for the power, and you'll surely be a slave for the glory. Do it for the glory, and you'll find inner grave for the laughter. Do it for the laughter, and you'll surely find your smile. Do it for the singing, and you've gone the extra mile. They say do it for the power, and you'll surely be a slave. Do it for the glory, and you'll find inner grave. Do it for the laughter, and you'll surely find your smile. Do it for the singing.
We acknowledge that we are on the unceded territories of the Massachusetts Nipmuc, Pawtucket, and Wampanoag peoples, as well as honoring and recognizing the Black and African people whose unpaid and forced labor built this country and our state. We celebrate and work in solidarity with Black, Indigenous, and people of color organizations leading the movement for our collective liberation in line with our UU values. Now please rise in body and spirit as you are able, and join me in our covenant and affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
As we begin our time of joys and sorrows this morning, I'd like us to begin by lighting 2 candles of sorrow for lives lost in our community. One for Chris Wilson, teenager in Acton, gone too soon, and for all those who loved and supported Chris and who cared for Chris and honored Chris in the fullness and specialness and importance of Chris's life. And one for the yet, I believe, unnamed person in Harvard who died in a drowning accident in the last few days, who I believe was also a young adult. That their lives are remembered and honored. And then I want to invite forward our lay minister, actually Ann Sadler is doing this today, to share a couple of other joys and sorrows with us. And then we invite those of you here in the community in person and then online to share your joys and sorrows as well.
At this point, we'll light two last candles. One candle for the cost of war, and a final candle for those joys and sorrows that we hold in our hearts.
And let me remind you again that on Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. we have a special listening and caring circle. I'll be there, but I'm actually not facilitating the UU Trauma Ministry Response Team. with the Reverend Aaron Payson from one of the Worcester churches, and a second person yet to be named will be facilitating that. You don't have to be like, I'm in trauma to come. If you're just like me and you're like, I'm angry and I want a place to express my anger, or you just want to be in a circle of community to talk about this. It's really an open session for anyone experiencing any kind of thoughts or feelings to come to, and a gift to us from the UU Trauma Response Ministry team, which does amazing and wonderful work. Our words for prayer or meditation this morning come from Vanessa Tatang, a biracial, pansexual, and disabled UU minister, titled Prayer for Being Human Amidst Tragedy. We do not choose when tragedy occurs, nor where, nor what feelings are brought to the surface as we handle this challenge. In this heartbreak, what we carry forth is our humanity in newly revealed form, our hearts tender and delicate. Within this complex, hard time, may your heart be cradled in this balance to strengthen in resolve and hold fast to the seed of tenderness that allows for the experience of love. May you be comforted in being human, while knowing in its very essence, being human is exceedingly hard. Know that you are not alone. Let us heal and balance together. May you find solace here in the collective human experience and regeneration of affection. May community hold, tend, and comfort you in love. Blessed be. Amen. Our hymn today is How Could Anyone? It's in your teal hymnals, number 1053. If we could turn and sing it to one another today. A special song that I accidentally left out of the order of service today, but that I specifically asked Joe to sing, which is called The Turtle. And when I first really got to know Joe about 10 years ago, we were at a small little UU camp in Michigan that was just starting up called Chalice Sparks. And Joe made me a deal that I'll never forget, which is he would give me a digital copy of all of his albums, all of them, if I would draw him a design that he could use for cards of thanks and correspondence. And he asked me to incorporate 4 little images onto these cards. One was a guitar, 2, I don't remember, but 1 was a turtle. And I always wondered about that turtle until I learned about this song. So here you go.
I gave you the music, did I?
Yeah.
Or do I still owe you the music from 10 years ago?
No.
Oh, good.
I mean, unfortunately, in my move, I lost, I was moving houses around that time, I think, or something. And I lost a lot of the digital copy cards. So
well,
I only have the ones you gave me actually on CD still.
I know a guy. We'll hook you up.
All right.
I wrote this song a little over a year after my oldest brother passed. He was my godfather as well. 16 and a half years spread between us and large family. And he was, of all of my siblings, he was the one that I think I was most actually friends with, which defies logic in some ways because there was the biggest spread between us, and he actually had a custodial role in my life. And yet he was the sibling that was most able to see me, even as a child, as a sovereign entity with ideas and thoughts and dreams. And he just got behind that all the way. He himself became an independent contractor in the film industry, a filmmaker and lighting specialist. So when I jumped off the cliff to become a full-time touring musician, I had his support first and foremost, because he knew what it was like to believe in something that you know you can do and to risk everything in order to do it. As it turns out, yesterday was the 33rd anniversary of my father's passing. He died when I was 19. And when I was 24, my mom died. And so when I was 30, I was sort of still comforting myself through those early losses with the notion that I would get to grow old with my siblings. And so this loss, it hit especially deeply. And it took me a year to write a song after that, and this was the one that broke the fast.
Well, the turtle lays 100 eggs, so a dozen might survive. To wade across that sand and finally reach the sea alive. I'm haunted by the memory of those falling from my side. I keep reaching for the water, go headlong into the tide. Headlong into the tide, headlong into the tide. As we wander toward our destiny with a shell of guilt and shame, as we contemplate our burdens and consider who's to blame, in the face of such absurdity we can only laugh and cry, and the cycle just continues as we breathe and grow and die. As we breathe and grow and die, breathe and grow and die. And for what is it we sacrifice? For what is it we gain? If we mistake for knowledge what is only fear and pain, in the shades of disappointment, shades of sorrow, shades of gray, if we trade our love for anger, then we trade our lives away. Yes, we trade our lives away, trade our lives away. Well, then isn't it ironic? I had After all the distance I have come to be with you today, I knew there would be sacrifice. I knew it from the start. Now there's no dream big enough to hold my broken heart. To hold my broken heart. Hold my broken heart. To hold my broken heart. Hold my broken heart.
Thank you, Joe. I think I've told you this story before, but at that same camp, I came up to Joe and I said, you know, this may be a stupid question. You probably get questions like this all the time, and it's kind of silly of me to even ask, but do you happen to know a folk musician on the West Coast named Wes Waddell? And Joe was like, are you kidding me? Wes Waddell is my best friend. And I said, are you kidding me? Wes Waddell is my first cousin. And when you all brought Joe in to do a virtual coffee house during the pandemic, that was when my cousin Wes's father, Jim, my Uncle Jim, was on his deathbed. And since it was a streaming broadcast coffee house, he watched it on his deathbed from the West Coast, and it brought my family together. And what a gift Joe's music was to my family, and what a gift this congregation was to my family in that moment, and I will never forget that. We're talking about transformation today, and a lot of transformation is about life's changes. Kids growing older, moments of death and loss, births coming into the world. The Article 2 proposal that's before us at this year's General Assembly of the Unitarian Universalist Association would add a value of transformation and to our sacred texts. And while I'm like in a spirit of whatever happens, happens about this vote, this value of transformation is deeply meaningful to me. It says, we adapt to the changing world. We covenant to collectively transform and grow ethically and spiritually and ethically. Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian Universalist heritages, never complete and never perfect. Now I think about that openness to change in a theological context, but I also think of it in a personal context, a political context, and a ministerial context, a professional context. And so I wanted to talk to you about just some of the changes I've seen since the beginning of my ministry, which was, I'm going to go back to 2000, but I really began ministry in 2001 as a professional minister. But in the year 2000, I was serving a church up in Houghton, Michigan, up in the tip top of the UP of Michigan. And in that fall of 2000, do you remember what happened? Al Gore was not elected president, despite being the popular winner of the vote. And I remember it rocking this small congregation and how stunned they were in that I think the Supreme Court decision had come out just right before I was up there to preach one Sunday that year. And how shaken everyone was by the idea that the election would be decided by the Supreme Court and decided against the winner of the popular vote. And, you know, we had all these arguments about chads and things in those days. That year, as I was finishing ministry, the advice was to new ministers, you should have a huge library of books. because you don't know, you might get called to some remote suburban town as a minister, and they may have a local library next door or something, but it's not going to have all the texts you need about Unitarian Universalist history, and all the texts you need about theology, and all the texts you will need about social justice movements, and you need to have on your shelf, you know, like a dictionary, and a Bartlett's Familiar Quotations, and a New York Library desk reference full of all sorts of weird factoids, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera on your shelves. Wikipedia started only later that year. I still have a huge library full of books, and do you know how often I open them for a sermon? I think 3 times a year, really, because so much is available at our fingertips now. The ministry has changed so much in so many ways. I started ministry in 2001, in August, and 1 month later, Twin Towers fell. These symbols that had been symbols of prosperity and engineering, and were on the skyline and in every movie, symbols of New York City, came tumbling down. And everything that I felt that I had prepared for in ministry changed. And I realized that we are going to be rolling with the moment, responding to what's happening in the world in a different way. Throw out my schedule of what I think I'm preaching on. I'm preaching on this. And my ministry became, for that short time that I was there in that Texas church, it became all about building solidarity with our Muslim neighbors. A year later, I moved up here to Massachusetts and served the Gardner Church. And we were fighting for marriage equality here. And that's what my ministry became about. And it also became suddenly about a big war that president was starting, and we were holding teach-ins and sit-ins and protests regularly. You started here a protest that has gone for 20 years since that moment. And at the same time, fighting for marriage equality, I signed on with Fred Small and Littleton, and about 20 other ministers. We signed a pledge saying we would no longer sign wedding licenses until they were available for same-sex couples as well. John Burens and Bill Sinkford signed that. Fred Small started it, I think. And I heard him talk about it in a ministerial cluster, and I was like, that's it. I can no longer sign licenses. I can't do it. I left here 2 years later, pregnant, my body full with my child who would be born in September of 2004. And I went to Michigan, and I went back in time. Transformation moved the clock and the wheels of justice backwards as we signed into law and through a popular vote that year that it would be enshrined in the Michigan Constitution that marriage was only between a man and a woman. And we fought about that for the next 10 years, fighting for change, until finally, 10 years later, the Michigan federal court there passed marriage equality. And it was active for 1 short day. The vote came in on the Friday night. Saturday morning, 4 county clerks across the state opened their doors, especially. In Michigan, it was Lansing, Ann Arbor, one in Oakland County, the Detroit suburbs, and Muskegon, of all places, which is like over here. And a little town. And the UU minister in Muskegon went and signed licenses. And the UU minister in Lansing went out and signed licenses. And one of the UU ministers of the Detroit area went to that Oakland County clerk and did mass wedding ceremonies along with a judge. And in Ann Arbor, about a dozen clergy showed up because it's Ann Arbor, it's the liberal bastion of the state. I showed up, I did 2 weddings, and about 300 and some weddings were signed across the state that day. And then by evening, the governor had put a stay on the order, and we could no longer do it until we fought it through the Supreme Court. Ours was one of the cases that went to the Supreme Court the year later. Transformation. It's not always good, right? Sometimes transformation is bad, and sometimes it's good, but it's a fact of life and part of Octavia Butler's Parable of the Sower, where she says, God is change. As a humanist, I say, the universe is change. Change is constant, and it's the only thing that is. But through all that change and the pandemic that would come once I got here and all that we've been through since then, and now the change of having for the first time a president who is also a convicted felon, or a past president who's a convicted felon who's running to be president again. This is a momentous moment in our nation's history. And we're like riding through it like it's nothing in some ways, because there's going to be more to come. Through all that change and transformation, one thing is also true. And these new values put love at the center of our faith. Love is a constant also. And whether or not this document passes, love has been the center of my faith from the very beginning. When I walked into that church in Michigan in 2004 with the wheels of time rolling backwards on marriage equality, I came into a church that had just become a welcoming congregation, just become one in 2004. But on their altar it said, God is love. And whether or not I believed in God, I preached my heart out of that phrase over and over again for the next 20 years, because I'm preaching it still. Love is at the center of our faith. And so through all this tumultuous times, through all this change, through all the things that are happening and will happen in the days to come, I ask you to hold on to that together as people of faith in Unitarian Universalism, that we know that the shining love, that love we believe in, that love that is granted to every person in this universe equally, love is the core, and it is with us. May it be so. Oh yeah, my favorite one. Come with me on this journey. We're all gonna sing this together in the chorus, right? Yeah. Choir will lead us in singing along.
Reverend Cindy is very gracious, but it was my mistake that song didn't end up in the program. It's also my fault that we started late today, so my apologies for that.
I told him you're used to me running late, like all the time, and that when there's really good music, you don't mind.
Thank you for the gracious welcome, and my thanks especially to Chris for arranging songs, for taking the lead on this collaborative effort. What an extraordinary musician. I just met Trevor this morning. Trevor, also an extraordinary musician. What a privilege to work with you and to work with the choir. Give him a little appreciation, will you? Would you please rise and body your spirit and sing this song with us? We'll just dive right into the verse, but you'll pick up the chorus super easy. I wrote this intentionally as a Unitarian gospel song, although arguably more of a Universalist gospel song, but you know, we'll split hairs on theology another time and sing right now.
I feel the current raging around me, trying to summon up my strength once more. I am weary on this journey, afraid I will not reach that distant shore. I cry for help, feel like I'm sinking. There is no one near me I can see, but there you are in the water with me. You take my hand and guide me graciously. Will you come with me on this journey? Every breath we take, keep reaching for the dawn. I know I will falter. With a good friend near me, I will carry on. There is a kindness in your smile and a gentle safety is at last within my reach. Will you come with me? Will you come with me on this journey? With every breath we take, keep reaching for the dawn. I know of hope that I will falter. With a good friend near me, I will carry on. It's an illusion we carry with us as we wade on through the waters of our lives. We must be strong and hold our own here, but a helping hand will save us by and by. Will you come with me on this journey? Every breath we take, keep reaching for the dawn. I know of hope that I will falter. With a good friend near me, I will carry on. Sing it with me one more time. Will you come with me? Will you come with me on this journey? Every breath we take, keep reaching for the dawn. I know of hope that I will falter. With a good friend near me, I will carry on. With a good friend near me, I will carry on.
Our closing words are, "May you be changed," by Emily Richards. May you leave this time together changed. May the promises you made to yourself about who you want to be feel closer to the reality of who you are right now. May you share that feeling of transformation wherever you go. May it spread into every word, deed, thought, and interaction until we are all changed, transformed, and transforming together, becoming our better selves. Please rise for our closing song in body or in spirit. And then we're going to have this wonderful little postlude. Should we stay standing for that? Okay.
This feels like the next verse to that.
Yes.
Different music. I wish you peace and every blessing on your journey as you learn to cherish each and every day. May your tears be those of healing. May your laughter bring you joy, and may true love be your companion on the way. I wish you peace. I wish you peace and every blessing. And every blessing on your journey as you learn to cherish each and every day. To cherish each and every day. May your tears be those of healing. May your laughter bring you joy, and may true love be your companion on the way. One more time. I wish you peace. Every blessing on your journey as you learn to cherish each and every day. May your tears be those of healing. May your laughter bring you joy, and may true love be
be your companion on the way. May your tears be those of healing. May your laughter bring you joy. May true love be your companion on the way.
Thank you so much.